Hey everybody, welcome back. These brides went Bridezilla in 10 seconds or less. Am I the a-hole for taking my friend to court after she kicked me out of the bridal party for cutting my hair? Rise for the Honorable Judge Charlotte. I actually kind of hit the note there. For my friend's 3-day wedding, I had to buy 3 different dresses, including alterations and specific shoes, which totaled over $700. Was this like an Indian wedding? Why'd you need 3? 3-day wedding? Was this a cultural event? She also wanted specific hairstyles for each day. 3-day wedding, my goodness. Dear Lord. Unfortunately, starting in May, my hair started to deteriorate. Due to health reasons, my hair was falling out in chunks. Oh, and in May, I made the difficult decision to cut my hair. I told the bride about my decision 2 weeks before the wedding, and she didn't say anything bad. The following week, she came over to my house, and when she was about to leave, she brought up that she was concerned about my haircut, and I told her it would look good even though it wouldn't be uniform with the other bridesmaids. The following day, I receive this message.
After our recent conversation, I'd like to remind you of my boundaries. I've been very accommodating and graceful and pretty.
No, sorry, delete that.
But I can't allow you to disrespect me. As you know, my wedding has been something I've dreamt of for many years. Husband and I have invested a lot of money into the video and photos for this day, and as we reflect on this day in the further, we want to see our vision reflected in the memories. Since I asked each of you to be a bridesmaid in 2019, I've been very clear and very communicative in my requests. The timing of your decision to cut your hair is very upsetting to me. I would have felt respected if you had communicated with me more than a week prior to the wedding, so we could have worked together to find a collaborative solution.
Does she want you to wear a wig?
Your inconsistencies have concerned me, and while I sympathize with your health concerns,
Doesn't really sound like you do.
I am not willing to compromise my vision to accommodate you or anyone else. And if you had informed me in advance, we could have found a better solution. Since this is something you can no longer fully commit to, I need you to please step down from participating in my wedding. I feel like that was good, right?
It wasn't good. It kind of just like baffles me how some brides treat their wedding as if it's like a commercial or like a video shoot or like a film shoot or something. And they treat their friends and family members as like cast members that need to look a certain way. I'm okay with cutting my hair for a role. Hell, I'd be okay with dyeing it for a role. But you better pay me. This was 3 days before the wedding. I immediately sent her and her husband an invoice. Period. Asking them to reimburse me for the dresses and shoes. Keeping in mind that one of the dresses is still in her possession, even though I paid for it. Neither of them replied, and so I decided to take it to court. It's so petty. Period. Oh my goodness. Yes, queen. It's petty, don't get me wrong, but it's totally fair because like you spent that money because you wanted to show up for your friend for her wedding, okay? You would not have spent that money otherwise. And clearly these are circumstances beyond your control. She doesn't seem to care about your health concerns. All she seems to care about is what the photos and videos will look like. I was told I was inconsistent and selfish after I spent the last 2 weeks helping her plan the wedding shower. I worked with another bridesmaid to surprise her with a bridal shower after our bachelorette trip had to be canceled. I spent hours helping her with wedding details. When she asked me to help her tone up before the wedding, I sent her a personalized workout program and even went with her to the gym to show her the ropes. Listen, you're sending that lawsuit, you're taking her to court. You should know that this is friendship ending. But she also kind of ended the friendship to begin with, right?
Right.
You weren't saying you couldn't be in her wedding as a member of her bridal party. You were just saying that you were gonna have a haircut. I'm sure you didn't want to cut your hair. These are circumstances beyond your control. What really matters with a wedding, and genuinely all I really care about, is that the people that I love and want to be around are there for me on my wedding day. It means a lot to me that people show up. So far, pretty much all my friends are showing up to my wedding, at least the ones that really, really matter to me. I can't even fathom, someone saying to me, I can come to your wedding, but I can't afford a dress. Babes, borrow a dress. Let me get your dress. If that's gonna stop you from coming to my wedding, don't worry about it. I would love for you to be there. You need some help. You can't afford the flight. You can't afford the hotel room. Let me figure it out. I want you there. That is the mentality that you need to have, okay?
It's true.
Granted, I'm not perfect as a bride. Like, I'm really not. Like, I know I'm very preachy, and I'm sure that you guys look up to me and like the way that I handle situations. I'm definitely probably not perfect in the way that I've handled conflict with my wedding. But all I genuinely really care about is that the people that I love are there. That is one thing I feel like I'm doing right. When I agreed to be her bridesmaid, I was more than willing to oblige with what she'd asked, even if at times it was a lot of time and money. So am I the a-hole for taking her to court because she kicked me out for cutting my hair? It's petty, and you're not going to be her friend anymore. Like, this was friendship ending. One could argue that what she did was also friendship ending. She doesn't care that you're going through health complications. All she seems to care about is what you look like. That to me is like, that's not a friendship. So it's not like you lost much to begin with other than the money that you spent on her wedding. Not the a-hole. Should have had the lawsuit served to her at the altar. Oh. So we do have an update. This has been a long time coming, right? Because lawsuits take a little while, don't they?
Better call Saul.
Let's be honest, lawsuits are expensive. They're long and lengthy processes.
That's what she said.
I feel like you're gonna spend more money on the lawsuit than you are, just letting it go. But it sounds like you got time and you want to prove a point. So fuck it. I've had a lot of people reach out to me asking what the results of the case have been. Unfortunately, I could no longer post comments on my previous posts as well. I figured I would wait until everything was done to update everyone all at once. In December of 2021, I got the notification that a court date had been set for February 7th, 2022. Wow, okay, she actually went ahead and was like, yeah, let's go to court. Just settle, babe, because if you lose, it's embarrassing. It would be virtual, and since it's small claims, we would represent ourselves. Okay, that's good. That's less expensive than a lawyer. I began gathering all my evidence and created a virtual file, which I shared with the court and her 7 days before the hearing. On the day, she did show up. We were given a chance to settle, but that was unsuccessful. When we returned to the hearing, I found out she'd also made a virtual file with her evidence, but never shared it with me. Oh, that's not allowed, I don't think. The court then made her share it, and what a surprise I had. She had copied my entire format for presenting evidence. Keep in mind that this is a format I created. Oh, did she present first? You sent it to the court first. Okay, yeah, good. See, it would be worse if you hadn't sent it to the court first so that they could see it. She didn't even have the decency or brain cells to make something up herself. The hearing proceeded and we were both given a chance to share our side. I won't go into details, but it took probably 10 to 15 minutes. In my state, they do not give you the verdict right away and it could take up to 90 days. And so I waited and waited and waited. Then yesterday, May 5th, almost 90 days after, I got a verdict. I won. Well, duh. She's been ordered to pay me the total of $808.94 for the dresses and shoes. I have to return 2 dresses and shoes I have to her. The verdict goes into effect May 30th. I don't see her appealing it, or fingers crossed she doesn't. All in all, I'm very happy with the outcome and so ready to close this chapter. Thank you to everyone who's been so invested in this with me. I hope this was the season finale you were looking forward to. It was. It was almost as good as White Lotus season 3 season finale. Chef's kiss. P.S. My hair and health are doing much better. My 3 bald spots are growing again and I couldn't be happier. Sounds like the only disease you had is a friend that sucked. Burn! So, are you the a-hole for taking your friend to court after she kicked you out of your bridal party for cutting your hair? What do you think?
Deliciously petty.
Would I be the a-hole for not bringing a partner to the wedding or refusing to sit at the head table? I don't know why I feel like an opera singer today, but I will. A very bad one, okay? Shut up. I, 29 female, am a bridesmaid in my childhood friend Alex's, 29 female, upcoming wedding. Alex has 6 other bridesmaids, including 2 of our childhood friends, Jill, 29 female, and Carol, 29 female. The other 3 bridesmaids are women Alex knows from other parts of her life. I've met all 3 before and they're all lovely, but I'm not particularly close to any of them. All 3 of them are straight women who have fairly serious partners, but are not married. I promise this is relevant. I have been in a relationship with Rachel, 27 female, for 3 years. Okay, so we got a lesbian couple. Jill and Carol are both married to great guys who Rachel has met multiple times. I promise that detail is also relevant. Alex recently informed the troops that they're doing a head table at the reception, that it will be just the newlyweds, bridesmaids, and groomsmen, no dates or partners of the bridal party at the table. I tend to think this is a little rude, and I don't like it when weddings I've been to have done that. But I think it's just a pick your battles situation. Jill and Carol are also not thrilled about it, but all of us decide to let it go. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely not ideal to not get to sit next to your partner at a wedding. Like, especially a wedding where you really don't know people. It's not fun, but it's not like a hill I'm willing to die on, you know? Like, I've had to be at weddings before where Mike was the MC, so he was like standing up almost the whole time. And my social anxiety was at an all-time high. I just drank, honestly. I just drank all the table wine. My issue is with Alex's plan for Rachel's table. Alex told me Rachel will not be sitting with Carol or Jill's husbands, as I kind of assumed she would be. Instead, Rachel will be sitting with the 3 boyfriends of the other bridesmaids, plus some random friends from her fiance's fraternity. What? Rachel will be the only woman at this table full of men she's never met before. Oh. Rachel told me she's not comfortable sitting with people she doesn't know before we knew who exactly would be at the table. Oh, okay. One of these men at Rachel's table works for a political group that is vocally anti-gay marriage. Ooh. Awkward. I don't want to be a snowflake, but Rachel's comfort is important to me. I don't want her sitting with a bunch of men who all know at least one person at the table, especially when at least one of these men may not react well when Rachel informs them she's at the wedding as another woman's +1. Ooh, yeah, that's awkward. Yeah, you definitely need to voice these concerns. I feel like there's other places that she could sit. I asked Alex if we could, in order of my preference, 1, put Rachel at the table with Jill and Carol's husbands. 2, put Rachel at a table with my parents and Jill's parents. 3, allow me to sit with Rachel and not at the head table. Or 4, put Rachel at a table with Alex's mostly female friends from grad school. Alex shot down all of these for various reasons. I've actually heard that figuring out where people sit at a wedding is like one of the most annoying things to have to do, because let's be honest, you're putting a bunch of people together that like might not get along. I have to consciously put some of my family members at one end of the table and another group of family members at another end, because unless I want a fight to break out, I'll do it. With that being said though, I kind of know and I'm alerted to specific tensions in certain friend groups, and certain family members have issues with other family members. And because I want everybody to be chill and not have to sit next to people they don't like for an entire evening, I think I would rather know in advance that there's like a little bit of an issue there. I'm also surprised that she told you like the seating arrangements for the rest of the tables too. I guess you're in the bridal party, so it makes sense that you would know, I guess. But like when I show up at a wedding, I'm like, oh, okay, I'm sitting here. Yeah, sure. Again, I don't know if I'm being overly sensitive. I don't think you are. I think that's a valid concern. If Rachel is going to be uncomfortable and Alex is not willing to make adjustments, I'd rather not bring her along so she can spend the evening doing something of her choice with people of her choosing. I've toyed with just pulling up a chair to Rachel's table once we get to the reception, regardless of what Alex says. Yeah, I wouldn't do that. But I obviously don't want to cause drama at the wedding, and I don't want to create a headache for the waiters. I guess I'm trying to get a feel for whether me and Rachel or Alex is being unreasonable here. I mean, listen, as a bride, I think that when people come to me with like problems that are like, okay, I don't need another problem on my plate, I'm initially kind of hesitant and annoyed. I'm only annoyed when it's something that like was already sent out in an email. If you're not reading the invitation and you're not reading emails from me and you're asking me irrelevant information that like was in previous correspondence, you're forcing me to like reiterate it, that's annoying. But if you came to me with a genuine concern like this, I feel like I'd be a little receptive, minorly annoyed. But once, you know, you kind of explain the situation, like, does she know the full story of why you're uncomfortable and Rachel's uncomfortable? Maybe it's worth talking to her again. I don't know. I feel like if Rachel's gonna be that uncomfortable, it sucks, but maybe it's better if she just doesn't come. But I also really don't like that your friend is not willing to accommodate you as well. Alex is making it untenable for Rachel to attend on purpose. Oh, now that you say that, it makes me wonder why you have genuine concerns over prejudice and she's like not willing to like hear you out. I feel like you might have a point there. COVID-19 waste time. Bingo, that's exactly what Alex is doing. There's absolutely no reason why Alex cannot move one person, Rachel, to another table. She's the one making up the sitting arrangements, no one else. She has the full power to change the seating. You have given her reasonable options where Rachel would feel more comfortable. You know, you've made it very, very easy for her to change things around. You've given her multiple scenarios in which she would be more comfortable than the scenario that she's in. So the fact fact that you've done that, I do think that there's something to be said for maybe the bride is trying to make it so that Rachel doesn't come. And then you kind of have to ask yourself, do I want to be friends with someone who does that? Even your own parents' table. She refuses with excuses. There is no excuse. One of her table mates is a known political anti-gay person. WTF, you're not being unreasonable, but Alex definitely is. You need to ask yourself why, and I think you already know the answer. Yeah, I mean, kind of sounds like there's a little bit of a prejudice here. I don't love that for you, bestie. So would you be the a-hole for not bringing your partner to your wedding or refusing to sit at the head table? I don't think that you would be the a-hole at all. I think you shouldn't go to this wedding, like, point blank. Doesn't sound like a good environment for you, I'm just saying. You are not the a-hole, my dear. It is decided. Bride called me a B-word on the batch trip and made a group chat without me. Ooh. I love some batch drama. I love it when it's happening to someone other than me. I don't like being on batch trips that have drama.
No way.
Hi all, throwaway account for obvious reasons. If anyone give me advice on how to navigate being friends with this bride, let me know. I was the only non-bridesmaid invited on a friend's bachelorette trip. Out of the 10 plus women invited, holy crap, that many bridesmaids? Only 3 ended up coming. Myself, bride's sister, and bride's BFF. Ooh, that says a lot. I wasn't shocked that her lifelong friends from home bailed, as the bride expected each of us to spend $2,000 on the Airbnb, flights, outfits to match the daily themes, etc. I voiced to her that this is a large financial ask for a lot of us. She didn't seem to understand and was visibly upset that most of her lifelong friends and bridesmaids canceled last minute. Ooh, last minute is also bad. I don't like that either. In fact, she spent the entire trip talking about the friends that didn't come and how much they would have loved it there. From the start, she seemed disappointed that we weren't who she really wanted there. I can understand being disappointed about that. I also think it would be a good opportunity to get to know the people better that did show up, you know? The morning of the trip, our airline had bumped us to an earlier flight. I was the first to notice and called everyone in the middle of the night to let them know we had less than an hour to get to the airport. Myself and the bride's BFF made our flight, while the bride had to take a different flight at another nearby airport. This is when I noticed that the bride, her BFF, her sister, had made a group chat for the trip, excluding me. I thought this was weird, but I said nothing and let it go. It sounds like you're the only one that really cares about this bachelorette trip, like at all, other than the bride. The bride's sister proceeded to spend the entire trip talking to me like I was a child and needed instruction. I mean, if it weren't for you, they would have missed the flight. She was rude, intrusive, and condescending from the start. She reprimanded me and the BFF, saying it was the bride's trip and that she shouldn't have to pay for anything.
Excuse me, what?
While this sentiment is nice, we were never told about any of the planned activities, nor that we would be footing the bill until it was too late. Ooh, yeah, that's very inconsiderate. Not only are you going on a several $1,000 bachelorette trip, but when you show up, you don't even tell people that you have all these expensive activities planned. You say you're worried about how do I be friends with her. I don't know if you should be, to be honest, but let's go. Things got even worse when we went to the beach. I packed the only 3 bikinis I owned: a white one with a lot of coverage, a green string bikini that no longer fit, and a blue bikini, which was supposed to be reserved for the yacht day. I started my period that morning and decided to wear the white one, thinking the bride wouldn't care because she knew I was on my period and felt awful. I was wearing a black cover-up over it the entire time, and we weren't given rules for attire at the beach. I felt okay about my decision because I left my engagement ring at home and never wanted to take away from the bride on her special trip. Despite having an opaque cover-up for the entire day, I saw that the bride was texting her bridesmaids group chat to tell them, "Blank's fiance, me, is such a bitch, and she wore white." Why are you even inviting people that you don't like on your bachelorette trip and having group chats without them? Like, why? Like, it is very clear that you need all the friends you can get. I see why. The financial cost is one thing. I feel like there's something deeper going on here, where people don't really feel like going on a trip like this is either worth it or they're worried about what's gonna happen because of who it's for. Other than the bikini, I couldn't think of anything else I had done to upset her or be unkind. Back at the Airbnb, I approached the bride to say I hope she wasn't upset about the bikini. I know it was her trip, and I genuinely felt bloated and disgusting, and I couldn't afford to purchase any more clothes for the sole purpose of this trip. She assured me she totally understood. She then told me she wasn't sure if she had packed a white cover-up, so I offered the one I brought as backup, but made it clear I never intended to wear it. This resulted in her sister telling me she would pour an entire bottle of red wine on me if I wore it. The punishment does not fit the crime here, bestie. I ended up staying back while everyone else went to dinner and everyone came back, and they stood in the hall making fun of me and imitating me, thinking I was asleep. I said nothing, let it go, and spent the rest of the trip being as nice and bubbly as I could be. On the final night of the trip, I was talking to the bride about her wedding planning process. This managed to turn into a conversation about my own upcoming wedding. The bride then told me that she, nor God, condoned my marriage because my fiance and I chose not to get married in a church. She proceeded to say that actually we're going against God if we attend your wedding. I see what's going on here. Why is it always the people who are like, it's not always, I know a lot of really lovely Christian people, but there's some people that kind of use it as an excuse to be an asshole. Not all Christians, but certainly some. I was appalled to hear this from a fellow Catholic woman. I tried to explain that I was raised to be accepting and kind, and that my religious beliefs do not get in the way of my friendships. This set her off even more, and she told me everything I was taught by the church I was raised in was blasphemous nonsense and I wasn't Catholic at all.
Aren't you overreacting a bit?
I didn't know what to say and went to bed. Girl, if she feels this way about you and she treats you like this, why the hell are you worried about being friends with her? Screw this person. The bride has continued to reach out to me as if we are the best of friends after the trip. I don't know how to respond to this. She and my fiance work closely and we see her at events very regularly. Cutting her out completely is not an option. Any advice is much appreciated. Okay, I see. So you're forced to see her. You don't have to cut her out completely, but you can do what is called the yellow rock method. Basically, it's a nicer version of the gray rock method. The gray rock method is something that you do when you're dealing with a difficult person or a narcissist, and they're saying things to like intentionally get a rise out of you. And the gray rock method is like this. Okay. Sure. Yep. Cool. Okay. That's the gray rock method. This is yellow rock method. Hey! How are you? But not as fake, right? Like, we'll be like good actresses. Oh my God, hey! Oh, you look lovely. Yeah. No, things are good. Oh, look. Oh, hey, sorry, I gotta go. Hi. That's the yellow rock method. Very superficial, very surface level. You don't have to be mean, but start to create some distance, okay? Because this person is not your friend. I'm actually surprised she would even bother to invite someone she didn't like on her bachelorette trip at all. You dump her. She's not your friend. There's a reason no one else went on the trip, see? You can be polite to her when you see her at events and such, but it doesn't mean you need to be her friend because from what you're describing, she's certainly not yours. She's literally bullying you. Like her and her friends are bullying you. Don't even bother going to the wedding. Cancel now, return any gifts, and run as fast as you can away from this female. Be civil when you see her in person. Concentrate on your fiance. They're the most valued person in your life right now. You don't have time for frenemies. Congrats on your engagement. Hope your wedding is what you want it to be. Period. And please don't invite her. So here's an interesting take. When you see her at events, I feel like if you don't go to the wedding and you kind of like do a friendship breakup, I feel like she's gonna be very confrontational and bitchy toward you. I think what you need to do is just all appearances are fine. The less you care, the better. Make it seem like you're just suddenly very busy. Sooner or later, the friendship will start to phase out because, like, let's be honest, it doesn't really sound like she cares about your friendship anyway. And she should, because you're one of the few people who actually showed up for her on her bachelorette trip. So this is why I agree with this comment. Since fiance works closely with her, I would send her a gift to keep the peace. I don't know how she'd take it if they skip the wedding, but after the wedding, avoid her like the plague and just be civil when forced to interact. She should absolutely dump her. Just because fiance works with her doesn't mean she has to be friendly. Yeah, you don't have to be best friends. It doesn't have to ever make it out the group chat. You know what I'm saying? Civility when they see each other is all that's required. Don't let anyone tell you different. This woman suffers from main character syndrome. You were only invited to the bachelorette trip in order to help pay for it. Bingo. That's it. People are losing their minds, trying to live like they're on a reality show. Ask yourself, why are you trying to navigate a way to be friends with this bride? She's abusive and uses you as a doormat and for money. Are you desperate for friends? Answer that question for yourself, for your own well-being. I mean, I hate to say it, but that's some tough love, and it's right. Siscat! Hey everybody, welcome back. These dates got ruined in 10 seconds or less.
I even say bye to this guy over there that I do not want you.
Yeah, probably when you were having a chainsaw waved in your face.
My prom date ditched me without telling me. So there's two main people you need to know to get this story. First, there's a guy, let's call him Ethan. And there's a girl, let's call her Claire. So me and Ethan have known each other for a long time. We were never really friends, we never knew each other that well, but we had been snapping for a long time. And recently, me and Ethan had been snapping, like, back and forth. Like, we were, like, snapping, right? So,
Snapping.
one Friday night, he's like, hey, like, I'm having a party tonight. You trying to come? Of course, me. Obviously, I'm going to say yes. I mean, this boy, like, Ethan, he's so attractive, guys. Like, I think he's gorgeous. I always will. He is a grade younger, though. And I'm a senior in high school, which makes him a junior. But whatever, I was like, okay, yes, like, I'm coming, like, I'll be there. I get a ride from my friend Maddie. We have the same name, so, like, twins. I'm rooming with her next year. She takes me to this party. Me and Ethan talk a little bit here and there, but I'm not really talking to him that much. However, he ended up giving me a ride home, and he was like, if you ever want to, like, hang out, like, text me. So, the next couple days go by, he texts me, what you doing, like, want to do something tonight? I'm pretty sure we just got Chipotle. And then I ended up going back to his house, and his family was talking to me and all this stuff, but, like, they were giving me, like, relationship vibes, and, like, guys, like, I don't want that. Like, I just got out of a relationship a couple months ago. I'm not looking for anything like that. But I was like, okay, whatever. Like, it's chill. Like, I'm sure that's not what he wants either. He also got out of a relationship recently, and a lot sooner than I did. But it was fine. We had fun. We hung out again, I think 2 more times. Then, this one night, I was about to leave. He was driving me home, and he kissed me goodbye. It was a really good kiss, actually. A very good kisser. Good for him.
Oh, worst. Thick hair girlies.
Escalate things
We
a little
know.
bit more. Take My Breath Away was playing. Like, it was like a movie scene. Like, I don't know what was going on. You're so tired. But it was like, the scene was set, okay? The scene was set, let me tell you that. The next day, this boy, Ethan, doesn't respond for a long time. Mind you, in these few couple days that we've been hanging out, we decided that we were going to prom together. We had decided that we were going to prom together. We pinky promised that we would not cancel and that we were going. Like, we were locked into prom, okay? He didn't have a date, I didn't have a date. Like, we were going to prom together. Pinky promised twice. You don't break pinky promises. Like,
you don't.
Unless you're, like, insane. You don't break a pinky promise. But whatever. Anyway, the day after the kiss, he wasn't responding the entire day. Nothing. No text. I think I was undelivered for, like, 20 hours when I finally got a response. It was dry, whatever. So, a couple days go by. We're barely snapping. I'm like, okay, like, this boy, like, where is he at? Like, what's he doing? I start to get texts from my friends. They're all like, Ethan is going to prom with Claire. Claire is a very pretty girl who goes to another school. My response obviously was, no, he's not. I'm going to prom with Ethan. I'd been going around saying that I was going to prom with Ethan.
Ooh,
Ethan
embarrassing.
was going around saying that he was going to prom with Claire.
Oh.
But the only person that Ethan did not say or did not
you.
tell he was going to prom with Claire was to me. Ethan was not going to inform me that he was going to prom with another girl. Everybody else knew, except for me. Sometimes I genuinely do not understand what goes through guys' heads. And I don't think they do either.
Girl, you were the backup plan. I'm just saying. Or he said it to, like, keep your expectations high so he could keep seeing you. Either or. But yeah, it's like, it's kind of embarrassing to, like, go around and tell people that you're seeing someone and then come to find out they're seeing somebody else.
So finally I text Ethan. I say, WTF, you're going to prom with Claire? He doesn't respond for hours. The end of the day comes. I get a, yeah, but there's more than that. Like, I'm listening. So I said, okay, I'm listening.
Okay.
Again, a whole another night, a whole another day goes by. End of the next day, he responds. This whole paragraph about how it was just too stressful with me and he thought that I wanted a relationship, and I had to stop him right there. I do not want a relationship with a junior. I don't want a relationship with anybody, but especially not a junior. And I told him that his ego was way too high because not every girl wants him. Boys need to be humbled. Why do we not tell them this more often? Not every girl you talk to wants you.
Okay, so maybe you, like, are kind of interested in a guy, okay? And they say, like,
I kind of, like, thought that you wanted something serious and I didn't want anything serious.
and you say,
Oh, I'm sorry. I would never want anything serious with you.
flip it around, you know? Flip it on the other side. Be like, oh, you thought wrong.
Sweet while we were talking, but that doesn't mean I want to date you. That's not what that means. I'm going to college in a couple months, and you're going to be in high school. I do not want you. But you don't cancel prom. And if you're going to cancel prom, maybe tell the girl that you're supposed to go with that you're canceling. Just a little bit of advice.
I mean, he could, but also, like, what do we expect from a guy who's a junior in high school? Mind you, they don't get much better at communicating later on in life either. You would think that they would get better at it, but no, they don't. Trust me when I say that even in their big middle ages, they still be tiptoeing around the truth.
Oh, I thought you knew. Oh, my bad. Oh, I thought you knew.
I didn't, but okay. Coming from someone who also did not have a prom date. It's okay. It's okay. I literally have not seen any of my friends from high school in years. Years. Well, they might have seen me, but I certainly have not seen them. Story time of when a guy invited me and 2 other girls he met on Hinge out at the same time. Okay, so there were 4 of you? Oh my God. 3 girls, 1 guy. It's a speed date. It's an audition with you in the room. Fun.
The guy that I went on one date with a couple weeks ago invites me out again. And he's like, I have a table. It's my friend's birthday. You should come. And I was like, sure. He tells me to come at 10:30 p.m. on a Thursday night, which I already was just kind of like, that's kind of late to meet up for the second time and me seeing you. But I had an occasion to go to before that, so I was like, all right, whatever, let me just pull up. But then today, he was like, actually come at 11:30, and I was just kind of like, oh. And
11:30?
Like, that other occasion I was going to didn't really happen anymore for me, so I was just kind of like, is 11:30 a good time to start my night on a Thursday? I don't know. But tomorrow is like one of my second to last day of work, and so I was just like, go. But I had a weird feeling that this night would turn really weird. And the reason I think it's going to be weird is because he doesn't have a lot of friends in LA, and I know that he just like moved here. So I was like, who are your friends? Like, who the birthday are you celebrating? Like, I don't think you know people. And so I was curious. I was like, okay, let's go. Let me see what's good. So I pull up. And he's like, and I text him, like, hey, I just parked my car, I'm walking over. And he's like, wait, hold up, I'm waiting for my boy. You should stay in your car for a sec. And then I wait for...
Girl, he's on a date with another girl. Oh my God, no, wait. He literally timed it. Like, wait. Your audition time has been moved back to 11:30 because the previous audition is at 10:30 and 9:30 and so forth.
And then he's finally like, okay, come out now, you can walk over now. So I walk over and I meet him in the front. And he's standing there with his dude. But then we're about to walk in, and then he sees this girl, and he walks over to her as if he's like just meeting her for the first time. And I'm like, huh, interesting. And then we all walk into the bar together, the 4 of us, and we go over to said table, which is like literally just like normal ass table that you like reserve. You know, like I don't think he had like a bottle service table. Okay, so obviously me and this girl start talking, and I'm like, oh, how do you know him? And she's like, oh, I just met him on Hinge. This is like my Hinge date. And I was like, like, this is the second time I'm meeting him. I also met him on Hinge. And
the audacity!
This girl sits with us, and we start talking her up, and then we're like, oh, how do you know him? And then she's like, oh, I met him on Hinge. This is my second time ever seeing him. So then the 3 of us are like, oh, she's in trouble. Especially with me, because I'm a does not need to drink to say like, we were just kind of keeking. We're like, you know, the three of us girls, and we were like, should we go somewhere else? Should we ditch this place? And then like the 2 of them had work the next day, so I mean, so do I, but I got laid off. So we didn't end up going out, but I feel like if it was a Friday night, we would have. But I was just kind of like eventually like, yo, I kind of like want to leave to the 2 of them. They're like,
yeah,
understandable. You should go. And then I was like, do I even say bye to this guy over there?
No.
And they were like, maybe, I don't know, up to you. And I was just like, you know, I might walk out. But I did go up to him, and I was just like, hey, I'm gonna leave. This was like literally like 10 minutes into me being in this bar. And then he was like, why? And I was like, why did you invite
What do you mean, why?
Hinge dates to this event? That's weird.
It is.
Like, I don't get it. I don't understand. Like, I don't
really
upset, blah, blah. And also, like, I wasn't really even upset. I was just like, bro, this is weird. I'm leaving.
It is.
Because what am I doing here at like 12:30 a.m.? Like, I just like don't want to be here anymore, obviously, for obvious reasons. Like, you're not even hanging out with me, you're hanging out with your guy friend, and you're leaving like these 3 girls at the table. Obviously I'm gonna find out we're women.
Okay, wait, listen, I'm sorry, you're the only one that left? You mean to tell me that these other girls knew that he brought 2 other girls on the exact same date and you're the only one that's leaving? Anyways.
Okay, we talk, and I found that out in like the first 5 seconds of meeting these people. So then at least he has the decency to walk me to my car. And during the time of the walk, he was asking me like, I just want to understand your perspective, blah, 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 saying all the buzzwords. And I was just like, dude, that was just a dumb move. Like, if you want to understand it so bad, like, I don't know, go ask your like female friends for verification. Like,
doesn't seem like
honestly,
they care
you ask
though.
Your guy friends. I feel like a lot of dudes wouldn't do that.
They wouldn't.
And he was like, well, like, I'm obviously seeing other people, you're obviously seeing other people, like, blah, 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 blah. And I was just like, yeah, but, like, I wouldn't put them in the same room as you after meeting you once and meeting them once. Like, that's weird.
It is. It's weird behavior. This is not demure. This is not mindful or demure in any way, in any aspect of the word. Where did this guy find the audacity? Where? How could you not think that that was weird? Let's all understand that when we're on dating apps, we, in addition to everyone we are talking to at least 5 other people, okay? Understand that that's the case. It's totally fine. You're seeing other people, we're seeing other people, but whatever. Do not ever bring more than one person that you're talking to out on a date to meet each other. Like, that is so beyond weird and stupid. And quite frankly, I'm very surprised that these girls stuck around. Like to them, it's like,
I'm gonna stay. I'm gonna win.
You won nothing. You won a weird guy. He's weird. This is why, like, when I've said before that, like, sometimes I feel like guys do this to put people in their place. Like, girls, guys, I don't know. I'm not a guy, so I don't understand. I don't know if girls also do this too. But there have been many a time where I thought I was seeing someone and, you know, we're out and they're like flirting with other people or is kissing other people in front of me. You know, when I question them about it, they're like,
Well, like, we're not exclusive.
it's like, yeah, but there has to be like some like mutual respect there where it's like, I don't want to know or see that you're dating other people. Like, you doing it in front of my face is like disrespectful. It's disrespectful and stupid because it's like, well, now I'm like, you're not a respectful person at all. Why would I want to date you? He doing that to put you in your place, girl.
I've seen lots of first date stories on here, and I have one that I think if you are dating, you should use as a warning of things not to do. Met a guy on Tinder, seemed really nice, we'd been chatting. I told him I like horror films, and he said, right, I'm going to plan you a date. It's a surprise, leave it up to me. I said, great, cool. He then said, I'll pick you up from yours. So I gave this stranger my home address. First thing not to do. He picked me up from my home. He was very lovely. We had lots of chats. He drove me to a part of Nottingham where we both live that I'd never been to before. Didn't know where I was. Suddenly everything became very unfamiliar, and I thought, it's just when the cogs started turning and I thought maybe this is a bad idea. Anyway, we pull up to a street, get out the car, and he goes, here we are. There's nothing, just some abandoned buildings. And he says, I'll just ring the guy and let him know we're here. So
Guy?
I'm going, okay.
What guy?
Like trying to be cute. And he goes, yep, great, cool. Oh, you can see us? Right. We'll be there in a second. Hangs up the phone. Says, come this way. I follow my date, who I've just met. And then we walk down an alleyway. No one's around. This is night time. It's an alleyway between 2 abandoned buildings. A guy opens a door in one of the abandoned buildings, and we step in. The door shuts behind us, and the man locks it. Now, when I hear that of the lock, I look around this building and I'm like, there is nothing in here. What is happening? I then get presented with a waiver that I have to sign to say whatever happens, I won't press charges. And then my date looks at me and goes, it's one of those, like, horror mazes, like, escape rooms. You said you like horrors. And I'm like, I love horrors.
I like watching horrors.
I like watching them. This isn't romantic.
Wait.
Anyway, I sign it. We proceed.
You signed it? Why did you sign it? Why on earth would you sign that? Girl, come on now. Do not sign your lawyer has not looked at. Promise me, you ain't signing your lawyer has not looked at.
I say, how scary is this? Because I'm a bit of a chicken, I'm a bit of a wimp. And the man who's made me sign a waiver says the only people that have made it through, all of them have at least wet their pants. So I'm like, right, okay, I've got a couple of options here. I die, I chicken out, or soil myself on a first date. Don't know why. Off we go.
Stop.
Go up some stairs. We go into this dark room. I'm absolutely terrified because I'm like, I don't know this guy. I've never seen this company online. It's not like an advertised, reputable thing. They could all be in cahoots to just kill me right now.
They could be, yes. Yes, that's true. And you would have literally no recourse because you signed that thing. You signed the thing. Don't be signing no things, okay? From someone who has signed things she regrets signing. Do not sign the things. We gotta send it to the lawyer. They gotta send back the red lines.
So we hunt for a key, and it's all fun. And I realise that there's a clown in the corner. You know the clown from
Absolutely
American Horror
not.
Story?
Absolutely not.
The Freak Show series, that clown, and it starts moving, and I'm like, oh, it's an actor, this is fun. And then the actor picks up a chainsaw, and I'm like, whoa, that chainsaw has the chain still. You know, like the dud ones often have the chain removed for like just theatrical effect. This is a real one that's swinging at this point in my face, and that's when I just scream, no, pack it in, stop it. Drop me out, I can't do this anymore. The lights come on. We exit the building, we get in his car, and I say to him, in hindsight, it's probably not the best idea for a first date. And he goes, probably. I said, at what point did the penny drop? And he went, yeah, probably when you were having a chainsaw waved in your face. So, word of advice, if you're dating, don't do any of the things I did. And if you're setting up a date, don't do any of the things he did. Anyway, a nice guy, just didn't work out for us.
If it was like something horror related, okay, I would say that it's like kind of a thoughtful first date. Like, listen, he did everything right, okay? I'm guessing that maybe he just didn't get, or maybe he did get how sus it would be. But like, I'm thinking if we need to sign a waiver that would not protect you if something bad happened to you, like you got hurt or like whatever. I'm thinking that if it's at that point, it's probably not a good idea in general, not just like for a first date. What's that one, like McCamey Manor or something like that? That one like haunted house that like, I feel like something really bad happened there, like somebody died or something, and or like really, really bad things happened. Like they shave people's heads and stuff like that. They post videos of people. If you can make it through the haunted house, you get like $25,000 or something like that, but nobody has ever been paid. That's how scary this haunted house is. I don't understand how they can get away with that. That's how crazy, how powerful a contract and a signature is. Like, you're done. You're done, buddy. I was even listening to this podcast recently where like in a prenup, someone literally put down that if their wife gains any weight, they lose their monthly allowance like per pound, or like every 5 pounds or something like that. They lose like $10,000 of their monthly allowance or their payout. And this person signed this. Be careful what you sign. You will regret it.
Okay, so what would you do in this situation? Because I'm thinking one thing and my friends are saying another. So I'm on Hinge. It's like a dating app, right? And about 2 weeks ago, I matched with this guy and we're talking and he seems nice. And then on Thursday, he asks like, hey, do you want to hang out on Saturday and meet? And I'm like, yeah, Saturday works great. Now, I am a planner. So if I make plans with somebody, I'm not that type of person that's going to make like other backup plans. I just have the plan set and then I schedule my day around it, right? So we're talking about when and where and all that stuff. So we decide on Friday. He's like, okay, let's meet in Delray on Saturday. I'm like, cool. I confirm Delray works awesome. And then I don't hear from him. Saturday comes around, no response, don't hear from him. And finally around like 5 p.m. on Saturday, I'm like, okay, well then I guess we're not going out.
Yes, correct.
So I make other plans and I'm a little annoyed just because I planned my day around it, but maybe something happened, literally no idea. Around 6:30 that night, he messaged me like, hey, sorry, I forgot to check this. Why don't you just give me my number and we can make plans over text? And I didn't see that message for about a day and a half because I don't log into the apps every single day. I'm not very good about it.
Neither does he.
So by the time I log in, he had sent me that message, and then he sent another one like, hey, I'm free Monday, Wednesday, or Friday this week. Let me know. And I'm just a little bit annoyed, so I don't respond again.
Yeah.
And then he sends another message like, I'm really sorry. I really do want to meet you. So I'm like, you know what? He's being persistent and maybe something legitimately happened. So I'm like, hey, no worries. Here's my number. So then we start texting and we make plans for this last Sunday. And I tell him like, I'll be free like around Sunday night. So he's like, okay, let's do 6-ish. And I'm like, sweet, perfect. So, we both have plans throughout the day on Sunday and we're kind of texting each other. And around 4:30, he texted me like, I'm getting roasted on the golf course because of the sun and the vodka. So I'm like, okay, he's out drinking. I don't know if he is like just telling me this to make conversation or if
he's trying
like,
to get out of it.
To see if I'll offer to.
He's trying to get out of it.
I have really no idea. So, so I give him an out. I'm like, hey, and I'm honestly not annoyed. I'm like, if you want to reschedule for a different day, like I know how brutal the sun and alcohol can be. Like I've been there. Don't worry about it. And he's like, no, it's fine. And then I'm waiting to hear back from him around 5:30. I'm like, let me know what time you're thinking and if you need to reschedule. And 5:45. So again, we're supposed to meet at 6-ish. So it's kind of a big time. 5:45, he says, no, I want to meet. I just got out of the shower. I had a snack. I'm feeling refreshed. So I'm like, awesome. I finished getting ready. In the meantime, I'm not like necessarily in like the mood to go out. Like I would have been okay if he had canceled because I was just tired, but I was like, I'm going to go out and meet this guy anyways. He's being persistent. He seems really nice. So I text again. I'm like, okay, like what time are you thinking? No response. Around 6:20, he texts me, I don't think I can do this. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. And he's like, I really do want to hang out with you, but maybe we can do tomorrow.
Oh my God.
And at that point, I just kind of felt like, this is the second time we've made plans and you've like kind of backed out on them. I didn't want to give him a third chance. My friends were saying I should give
Your
him
friends
another
are
chance
wrong.
Maybe something happened.
Your friends are wrong.
To me, I feel like that's kind of a red flag.
Is.
Like 2 times in a row. And also I felt like it was a little inconsiderate. I did give him an out to like, change the plans if he needed to. And he confirmed he was good. I had my makeup on. I don't know. What would you have done?
I mean, you gave him an out and then he said no, like that he would still do it. I don't know, man. Like, it's just fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice. Seriously, the guy has shown that he doesn't care that you're making plans around him. He doesn't care that you, you talked about this in advance. Like, he didn't even remember that you guys had made plans. He did not remember. You are so far down this guy's priority list. And I'm not saying that to be mean, by the way. I'm saying that from someone who was also very far down a lot of people's priority lists. I just think that, yes, we're all on dating apps and, we fail sometimes to recognize that there is a person on the other side of the screen and it's not just like something we do to have fun while we're taking a shit. Like there's a person there. And yes, you can see other people, etc., but just like be a person of your word. Don't waste people's time. You were hella nice about it, and I commend you for that, but it's just, I'm not sure who's telling you to give him a third try, but that's a no from me, dog. The only people who would tell you to give it a third try are people who have not been in your shoes. And like, I can tell you as someone who has been in your shoes, God doesn't care about your time. And if he doesn't care now, he will never care. Just listening to this stressed me out. If I don't have a firm time in place at least a full day in advance, I wouldn't be getting ready to go, literally. Unless we have a time and a place and a reservation. It's sad that it's come to that, right? It's sad that it's like, we need to have the concrete plans. I need to know where I'm going at what time. If it's just see you Saturday, you're not seeing them Saturday. Like, you're not. I'm sorry, you're not. Your friends need to raise their standards. I think we all collectively need to raise our standards. Most of us.
Okay, I've been gatekeeping a horrible first date story, and I'm finally ready to tell you guys about it. Me and my friends literally call him red flags.
Yeah.
So I matched with this really cute guy on Hinge. The banter was great. He was a great texter. I was really intimidated by him because he was so attractive and because we had great conversation. I was really excited for the date. We went on a walking date, which is like one of my favorite date activities, which I feel like is kind of controversial. I don't know, I just think it's like so easy to just like chat and walk.
So yes, it is controversial to go on like walking dates or like coffee dates because it's not like you're actually investing in it. But I think in this day and age where people are going on multiple dates at once and like you're kind of like you don't know who you're meeting, like I think if you are meeting someone off of like a dating app, I think a walking date is good because you can also run away from a walking date. Same with coffee dates. You sit, you have a coffee, you kind of see if there's chemistry, in-person chemistry, because text chemistry it can be faked. Seriously, some people are so good at dating apps, they know exactly what to say and how to, you know, like get the wheels turning and all that stuff. Just because they have chemistry with you does not mean that they don't have chemistry with everybody else too. So I actually don't mind the walking dates. I don't. I think that when the dating app is how you met, I think walking date is good, but public walking in a very busy park.
So anyways, we were doing coffee, grabbing coffee, and then going on a walk. Off the bat, he was really cute. And through my little pre-date FBI investigation, I figured out that we went through a breakup around the same time, which I got broken up with in November. I never ever talk about my ex-boyfriend, my breakup, or anything about dating on a first date. He brought it up. We did figure out we got broken up with around the same exact week. And then he started like really talking his ex. He was like, she found someone new already. She is a rat. She's a disgusting person. I wasted 2 years of my life.
He still loves her.
The worst. Like literally popping off, like talking about her. I was like, oh, okay. My ex-boyfriend really broke my heart, but like I still wouldn't say that about him to this random stranger. To my friends, like maybe, but like still probably not. Like I just feel like I would never say that. Gave me the ick right away. I was like, oh no. From then on, he kept referring to her by her first name, which I also thought I was weird. He'd be like, me and blank saw this concert, me and blank went on this trip. Like, it was really giving not over it.
Listen, I'm sorry, but if someone like on a first date or like you first meeting someone, they're talking about another girl, even if they're talking about them in like in any light, really, in a positive light, in a negative light, like especially in a negative light, I just think that they're not over that person or they're interested in that person still. Like, because why are we talking about that on a date with somebody else? It's weird. Don't do that, please.
Still like really hurt about it. So that was in like the first 30 minutes. He kind of like was asking me about my ex, and I was just like, oh, you know, like I just try not to really like think about it that much. And he's like, no, I like to think about it because like it makes me angrier and like it makes me hate her. I'm like, okay, because she's already got a new boyfriend or something, I don't know.
Okay.
Then he started talking about how expensive it was to date. I already spent like a couple grand. So then he makes a comment. I took a girl on a second date a couple weeks ago, and we went out to dinner, and like I'm all for taking a girl out to dinner, you know, whatever, but I spent $240, and like I don't really want to spend that if I'm not getting after. I was like,
he said that?
So then I'm sitting there like, okay, don't go out to dinner with this guy. Next thing he did was he kept talking about like these big events. A wedding that he went to, when he came and like visited my school. There were other things too. Every single event he talked about, he was like, yeah, I was so blacked out. Like, I was so blacked out they found me in a field the next day. I was so blacked out I woke up on the toilet the next day. Ew. He also mentioned a few times how he could drink 30 beers on a regular Saturday.
Sounds like a frat boy.
The opposite of the person I'm looking for.
Yeah.
Also at the beginning, when we went to get coffee, I can't drink coffee because I'm on like a medication. So I'll either drink like decaf or a chai. And I told him that, and he's like, okay, like let's go get Starbucks. And we get to the Starbucks and he just walks in and grabs his mobile order. I was like, oh, okay, guess I'm not getting anything. Just a lot of red flags, but honestly in the moment I was clocking all the weird comments to report back to my friends, but it wasn't an absolute no from me.
Really?
I went to my best friend's apartment after. I started off by saying it was a good date, like I would probably see him again. She's like, wait, why would you see him again? Literally giving you glaring red flags. And then the more I thought about it, I was like, wait, you're right. So yeah, he did text me after. We will not be going on a second date.
Good. Listen, I know he's cute and stuff. But it's like, okay, so there's a few red flags here. Still talking about his ex in a bad way, okay? Means he's probably not over her. Told you that he, you know, doesn't want to pay for dinner unless he's getting laid. If you get laid, great. If you don't date. If that's not what you want, like, you don't have the money to date. If you don't want to be spending that kind of money, you don't have the money to date. Don't. And thirdly, he didn't even buy you a coffee. Like, I'm sorry, but like, what do you mean? Okay, yeah, no, he's putting you in your place for sure. That sucks. That sucks, dude. But guess what? Because he's good looking and he's got good banter, you know, there are people who are willing to look past certain behavior because they're cute, right? Like, because this guy is cute, he can get away with a lot more. And it shows, because he's fully unaware that all the things he's doing are very, very inappropriate to do on a date, much less a first date. And he probably is able to do all those things and still get laid. So, like, as long as it's not you.
Welcome back to the Single Series, where I take you through my wonderful dating and single life in New York City. Tonight, we're going on a first date. So I met this guy on Hinge, obviously.
Everybody,
That's where I find most of my dates. I don't know. I just never have luck in person.
Surprising.
So I found him on Hinge. And I know him kind of through a friend of a friend. And then I knew somebody else that knew him. We're going to call him Jersey Boy. We've been texting a little bit, which I like. Like, a little bit of texting is fine, but like not like too much. So we've been texting a little bit, and he seems like he has like good energy over text. So we hope that that matches. And we're going to a bar downtown for drinks. And yeah, I'm excited, but I'm keeping my expectations low because sometimes I tend to get myself too excited when I like text somebody and I kind of feel like it's going to be good and then it ends up not. So we're going to see how it goes. And I'm going to come back and report back.
Oh, goody. Yes, tell us.
With a first date recap. And first thing that I'm going to say is the date started at 8 and I got home at 2 a.m. So when it comes to first dates, there's no in between with me. It's either it starts at 8 and I'm home by 10, like we had 1 or 2 drinks, normal first date. Or the date starts at 8 and somehow I am 5 drinks in and I'm home at like 1, 2 a.m. And that was this situation with Jersey Boy. We went to one bar, had 2 drinks, and then he's like, want to go somewhere else? And I was like, you know what? It was like 10-ish, and I was like, sure. Like, we were having good conversation. I felt like we were vibing. Like, let's go somewhere else. And as we're walking to the next bar, we come across a restaurant in the West Village, Emmett's on Grove. If you're familiar, you're familiar. I had never been before, and I had been dying to go, and he was like, me too. We literally walk in and get a pie pizza together. So at that point, we had our pizza. We also had a drink at Emmett's on Grove, and he was like, now do you want to go to the bar? And I was like, you know what? I'm kind of drunk. And I was like, sure. Like, it was literally a Tuesday, and I was like, I guess we're sending it. So
sounds like it's going well.
The bar closed out the bar until like 2 a.m.
Okay.
And honestly, it was like the craziest like first date that I've ever been on. We just felt really comfortable around each other, and he was like a really nice guy. We were having like really good conversation, just like a fun and flirty time. And I would definitely see him again. I think that he wants to see me again. So we will see what happens with Jersey Boy, but this was probably one of like my craziest first dates. I fear we have been ghosted.
No!
So this wasn't a typical ghost. Basically, after the date, we kissed. We literally like spent like 4 or 5 hours together. Had literally a night on a Tuesday. And he said like would love to do it again. And then he texted me that night like, had a great time with you. Like, thanks for such like a fun night. But he didn't say like, let's do it again. And to me, that was the red flag right there. And I knew that, but I was like, you know what? Let me just like see what happens. I kid you not, this man is texting me every single day, the whole entire day basically. We're having a conversation. He's sending me good morning text, good night texts, like literally texting me like for 2 weeks. And I think like a few days after our date, I was like, you know what? He hasn't said anything to me about like a plan for like the next time like seeing him. Like, I'm just going to say something. So I was like, what are you doing like this week? Like, would love to do something. And I already know people are going to come at me and be like, why did you ask him out? He should have asked you out. You know what? Like, I don't care. Like, sometimes, like, the rules of dating are so black and white in some people's eyes. And, you know, sometimes, like, I'm just gonna do, like, what I feel in the moment. And if that's not the right thing for, like, some people, then whatever.
I totally get what you're saying, but I think that I always used to get anxiety after a date because it was like if I didn't get like a text, like either when they got home or like the next day, like asking me how I felt or like whatever. To me, the no text is a no. Like it is like 100% I do not want to see you again because like,
what do you mean you're not like thinking about me?
What do you mean? I'm awesome. Why aren't you thinking about me and like want to talk to me? What do you mean? Keep that in mind. Like I'm all for the lady making the move and like asking for the date. And that I would have also maybe done, but there had to have been some communication after the date too from him.
He basically told me that he was busy. Like if his calendar like opens up, he will let me know, like, he would definitely want to see me. So that response was obviously, like, red flag number 2. But I was like, you know what? I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. I'm like, if he does not ask for plans next week, like, I'm just gonna, like, soft ghost him. Basically, we continued to talk. I was like, I'll give it until, like, Sunday, Monday. And I think we spoke until, like, that Sunday. And then he sent me a text. I responded, and then he just never responded to me. And honestly, like, I didn't really care that much. Like, I met him once. Like, yeah, we had a good time. But he also did tell me, like, he had just gotten out of a relationship 4 months ago. It was, like, a 6-month relationship. But, again, like, I was one of the first dates that he had, like, been on. And, like, clearly he wasn't looking for something serious. Totally fine. And I just want to say, like, I am not, like, looking for something serious. Like, I feel like if you're going on dates, like, you're looking for something. And, you know, sometimes guys are just looking to f*** around. Same with girls. Girls could be looking to f*** around too. Or you're, like, actually just, you know, looking to meet somebody and just, like, see where it goes. That's normally, like, what I like to say. So, Jersey Boy is done. Yeah, so on to the next, as always.
You know what, man? Like, I don't like the cool girl attitude, like the let's see where it goes kind of thing. Like, if you're not dating to, like, be in a relationship, I don't know, some people don't want relationships, and that's fine. But, like, I just feel like the way, you wouldn't be making a TikTok about him, and you wouldn't be, like, if you were excited to go on the date, like, you liked the guy, and it's okay to admit that, okay? Like, and I find that people are like,
I don't even care, like, I don't care about him.
And it's like, we do kind of care, and there's nothing wrong with caring. There really isn't anything wrong with caring. And I find that, honestly, having that attitude, having the, like, I didn't even want anything, is you're also setting yourself up to not get anything either, you know? Like, I think it's good to have some standards when going into, like, dating. It's good to, like, kind of set boundaries early on, be direct and say, like, yeah, okay, so, like, happy to meet up, but it's gonna have to be at this time specifically. I would love to go, you know, I have, like, give him, like, a list of restaurants you'd like to go to, bars you'd like to hit up, whatever. And if that's too much for him, move on. I think we've all grown too accustomed to being, like, the cool girl that doesn't have any expectations. I was the cool girl for a long time, and it wasn't until I stopped being the cool girl and started saying things like, yeah, I'll see you again, but you're paying for the date. And you're taking me to a nice dinner. It wasn't until I set those expectations and made them very, very clear did I meet Mike. First try. There's some food for thought. Subscribe!